Broadcasting the information the mainstream media won't touch. This is The Richie Allen Show in association with DavidIke.com.
Well, our next guest has been on the programme before. He's a remarkable man. He's a terrific journalist, a brilliant broadcaster as well. Trends in the News on YouTube is absolutely brilliant. Check it out. He's hilariously funny. But on a serious note, he's been accurately predicting geopolitical and economic trends for a long time. And he's made people very successful through his insights. You can subscribe to the Trends Journal at trendsresearch.com. Go to trendsresearch.com. Let's welcome back to the programme. And we thank him for his time, the great Gerald Celente. Gerald, welcome back.
Thank you, Richie. That's very kind of you. Great being on with you.
It's wonderful to have you on, and I want to chat with you about the FBI and Trump and Russia and all of that, and that's really important stuff. And I know you'll have plenty to say on it, but of course the big news over here, and I know it's been widely reported in the US as well, of course, especially in Boston, New York where you are, Florida, on the East Coast because there's so many expats, the attack yesterday, which has left 4 people, including the attacker dead, a policeman. What have you made, Gerald, of what you've seen in the last 24 hours?
4 people. How about the 230 civilians that was slaughtered last night by United States airstrikes over Mosul? They don't count. How about the 40 Syrians that were bombed away by the USA last week and another 30 this week? They don't count. But one madman kills 4 people. We got to increase that war against ISIS, I tells you. You have the Trends Journal. You see the cover of it.
Yeah.
Crusades 2000. That's all this is. No one wants to see or say, how did this radicalism been created? It's their religion. Oh yeah, maybe it is. It couldn't be, because the United States and its coalition of the killing slaughtered over 1 million Iraqis on a war based on lies, destroy the entire country. Young people have no future. I just mentioned 230 civilians bombed to death last night by the United States, and that doesn't make any of the media. How about that lovely war in Afghanistan? It's a beaut. We got to get that guy, Osama bin Laden, and he'd been living there. That's a good excuse to go there and launch a war that's destroyed the country, the longest war in American history, and now they're talking about sending more troops there. Taliban didn't do anything to us. Oh, bin Laden. Oh, that other little slimy little lowlife, Jimmy Carter, who all the liberals love. Yeah, you forgot the Mujahideen that he created. Bin Laden, morons. All you little liberal lowlifes that love your murderers like Obama that killed over 4,000 innocent people with drone strikes. Oh, yeah, you forgot the Mujahideen, huh? Yeah, because you're all suffering from attention deficit disorder and you're lost in la-la land. You love BS, man, and you can't get enough of it shoved down your throat. Wonder why they create radicalism, huh? Oh, yeah, you got to get them Russians out of Afghanistan. Oh, you forgot that story, huh? Oh, maybe you like the story of that other arrogant Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner Obama that destroyed Libya, killed over 40,000 people. Can't figure out why there's a refugee crisis. Oh no, maybe it was that Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner Obama and all you liberals that are so sorry that Hillary Clinton isn't in there, that began the war to overthrow Assad that's killed over 600,000 Syrians, over 6 million refugees, and 5 million people displaced. I can't figure out why people go berserk and become, quote, radicalized. Because after all, if a foreign country invaded America or invaded the UK or invaded France and the people fought back, why, those people would be terrorists. No, they'd be militants. And we'd all be morons for believing the crap that they've been shoving down our throat for decades. So that's what I make of what happened in the UK. Innocent people killed because of a madman gone berserk, and they'll use this to rob more of our rights away from us. And never looking at the cause or the effect.
You've been watching the media and how it operates for a lot longer than me. And I've been talking today, as best as I can, about the way the media has become like a 24-hour-a-day soap opera, Gerald, selling a drama to people, selling a narrative, and not asking any questions. And I'm glad you brought up the attack that killed 230 people yesterday, because that hasn't been given a single mention on UK media today, not even a byline, not even an and finally. You know, how do we, rhetorically I suppose, how do we counter that? How do you get through to people that what they're getting on their 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock news bulletin is
You're
nonsense?
not going to get through to them.
You're not.
You're not going to get through to them. Dogs don't make cats, man. These people are lost. They believe all the crap they want to believe. I know educated people that are fearful of the Russians. They're buying all, the Russians are coming, the Russians are coming. Hey, it got sown, I said to my friend. How much is Trump increasing the military budget? Right away, $54 billion. How big is the United States budget compared to the top 7 nations? Yeah. The top 7 nations spend less than the United States. Do you know what Russia's military budget is this year? America's increasing its military budget by $56 billion. Russia's is $48 billion. $48 billion. When you look at the United States military budget and you put in CIA, Homeland Security, Black Ops, black budgets, it's over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. But again, 4 people killed in the UK, but 33 civilians sheltering in a Syrian school a couple of days ago, blown away by the United States. Well, we're going to look into it, and we're not going to. Yeah, murdering people everywhere, murdering them everywhere. But that doesn't make the news. So, to answer your question, you can't cure stupid because people believe in their politics like they believe in their religions. And you can't break the habit. They don't want to look at the facts. They don't want to call their murderer a murderer. Look at that little lowlife Tony Blair. B.S. Blair, a multi-millionaire now, after starting a war in Iraq based on lies. An arrogant little boy of nothing, one after another. So you're not going to change people because they still believe in the crap from Hollywood. And that's all this is. Look, we own the trademark, the presidential reality show.
Yeah,
it's show business for ugly people, man.
And as we're talking, the television show Homeland is airing on Channel 4 over here. There's a number of television programs reinforcing the narrative that is a big, dangerous boogeyman enemy in the Middle East trying to kill us all. I want to ask you about our mutual friend, and he's your great friend, Paul Craig Roberts, who has been doing great work with you for many years. And he's come on our programme quite a lot in the last couple of years, and we're always delighted to have him on. And he's given up on Trump, hasn't he? He's become... We had a chat a couple of weeks back, and he was pretty down about what he was seeing about Russophobic appointments to Trump's cabinet the change in narrative from Trump and those around him compared to pre-election. You just mentioned, Gerald, the massive increase in military spending. We could talk about his plans to go after Iran. How do you see that? Are you... I'm not going to characterise in any way what you were saying, because you're always very cautious and you always watch things and you're very steady with your predictions. But has your approach to Trump in any way changed since we last spoke back in January?
Not at all, in the sense that my disappointment is the same as Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, how he's become so militaristic. And on the campaign trail, he'd say stupid things like, how are you going to get rid of ISIS? We're going to bomb the shit out of them.
Yeah.
What am I, 6 years old? Who are you talking to? What are you going to bomb? And that's what they're doing. And again, they're bombing the shit out of killing innocent people. This doesn't work. All the United States military has, and I know everybody loves these guys and their military drag, man. They love to salute, wear those medals. Yeah, I know it. It's not my trip. It's their trip. There's no draft in this army. This is a volunteer trip, and you're not making my life safer. You guys are making it less safe by invading and occupying other countries. So having said that, you're looking at what Trump is doing, and now the policy is to do more of that. Again, they're putting some 2,000 troops into Syria. Now they're coming up with this whole scam of how they're going to build a safe zone in Syria. Oh, you are? You're bombing Syria. You have no right being there. There's a thing called the Constitution, but people forgot about that because they raped it from us. And that meant that Congress had a vote to go to war. They don't vote to go to war anymore. They give the commanders-in-chief the power to do it. So Paul Craig Roberts and I are disappointed on the same levels, going back to Iran. Or you heard Trump, it's the worst deal ever made. It's the worst deal ever made. What the worst deal ever made? Oh, yeah, we got to watch them Iranians. I mean, after all, they haven't invaded a country in about 250 years. Yeah, but they're in Syria. Yeah, but Assad invited them there. Yeah, but we don't like Assad. That's none of your damn business. He was elected by the people. But you're too stupid, you people that don't like him, to look at the facts. So what if a country, you got Trump over here with 37% negativity rating, what if they said, we got to get rid of that crazy guy? He got his hand on a nuclear trigger. Let's go invade that country. It's the same thing. So Trump's, he's just pushing this war more. He has given now the Pentagon, according to White House officials, to bypass the White House to make decisions.
That's right.
When you look at the people he's put in his cabinet and his top administration officials, they are people from the military-industrial complex that are running the intelligence agency, Homeland Security. A revolving door? No, man, it's one door. It's the military-industrial complex, now cyber complex, and of course before the cyber time that Dwight D. Eisenhower, five-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II, two-term Republican president, warned the American people that the military-industrial complex was robbing the nation of the futures of the children, genius of the scientists, and sweat of the laborers, and here we are. And you got all these little boys, slimy, slick Willie Clinton, bullshit George W. Bush, whose book now, his coloring book, is on the bestseller list in the United States of the toilet paper of record, the New York Times bestseller list. And all of the media welcoming this little clown of nothing with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball. Obama, between playing golf, shooting pool, and playing basketball, another arrogant guy. And now you got Trump. Yeah, Trump was a tough guy. He was such a moron, a narcissistic jerk. When I was a kid, we're the same age. The greatest threat your parents could give you when you got out of line, your little SOB had enough of your crap, you're going away to military school. Trump was so narcissistic. This guy, this born on third base, thought he hit a home run. His old man left 4 kids over $300 million. They sent him to military school right south of where we are over here in Colonial Kingston, Cornwall, New York. Now imagine this, Richie. You're a teenage boy. I mean, if you're not into the transgender trip or the other trip, you're into girls and cars and sports. But instead, they got Trump dressed up in military drag, eating crappy food, sending him away to military school. Now he's talking tough, too. The point that I'm making, if you're going to call him out, Junior, take him out.
Yeah.
Go fight. Go lead the charge. None of you guys could fight your way out of a paper bag. You're all a bunch of loudmouth, arrogant psychopaths.
Let me do a quick recap.
And I'm not a peacenik. I'm a close combat practitioner. If somebody tries to take me out, I'll take them out first. But I don't get in fights. Only when I have to, if my life is in danger. But these little boys who can't fight, they'll send somebody else to do their dirty work, are slaughtering people all over the world. And then when other people go berserk and kill other innocent people, oh, what a crime it is. But our crimes are clean because it's Crusades 2000. End of story. It's the 10th Crusade.
Yeah, they hate our freedoms, they hate our virtues, all this nonsense. We've been hearing it all day. Let me do a quick recap. The excellent Gerald Celente is on the line live from New York, trendsresearch.com. I ain't no brown noser.
Hello,
I
Richie.
recommend the Trends Journal. It's fantastic. Bookmark the website and subscribe to the journal. And Gerald is going to be in Ireland in June. My country. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well before we say goodbye to Gerald. He's going to be in Ireland, and if you're on the west coast of Ireland, Galway, Limerick, Mayo, well, anywhere in Ireland, it's a small island, go and see Gerald. We'll tell you all about that. Listen, my friend, so the military establishments then, the Zionists, as Paul acknowledged when he was on the programme, and say it for me, we're back. We lost you momentarily.
Okay, when'd you leave me?
Oh, no, we heard everything you said.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I was just jumping in to do a quick recap. So I've mentioned the website and I've urged people to subscribe to the journal. It is fantastic. I'm not a brown noser. It's brilliant. Subscribe to the journal. And then I was talking about you're going to be in Ireland in June. And I want to talk about that in a couple of minutes' time, because if you're in Ireland, you've got to go and see Gerald Celente in June. He's going to be in Ireland. We'll talk about that in a second. I was just going to make the point that, so the military establishment, they'll be happy enough with Trump then. We know the Zionists will be happy enough with him. We know Bibi Netanyahu is happy enough with him. The media are not. So tell us then, because you've got your finger on it. What's going on with the FBI and this nonsense about campaign people working for Trump liaising with the Russians to subtly put out anti-Hillary stories and all of this? I don't buy any of this. What's going on, Gerald?
Well, before I go back, you asked me about Iran earlier. Our forecast is, being that Trump hates Iran and is so tied to Israel, and by the way, when Netanyahu came to the States, one time he stayed at his son-in-law's parents' house, Kushner's. So they're very tied in together. I believe there's going to be an incident between Israel and Iran, and the United States is going to get in there to protect Israel. So that's the way we see it. Going back to the FBI question, this is all a fraud brought to you by the Democrats. And if you go back to the campaign in 2016, when they hacked into the DNC emails, there was never any proof, no proof at all, no evidence that Russia ever did it. But the issue never became what was in the DNC emails and how corrupt the whole DNC and the Clinton Foundation and the rest of them are. So what they do, it's public relations 101. You get away from the issue of the damage, and then you go blame somebody else for something else. And that's all that's been going on. All of the FBI, the CIA, these are just political hacks. The only way you get to the top in that game is to suck your way up. So this is all a political game to keep the people's mind off the real issues, and it's also the Democratic strategy to overthrow Trump. You go back issue after issue. All they do is every time Trump has any kind of a minor victory, they come out again with another, the Russians are coming story. There's no greater example than that guy Flynn. Again, I'm a political atheist, and I don't like any of these people. But that guy Flynn, who was the NSA, that former military guy, you know, they said, oh yeah, RT brought him in and he had him speak in Russia. And yeah, they paid him like what I used to almost get paid when I do talks. It's not big bucks. And compared to Clinton's getting when they sent Bill Clinton to Russia to do a deal for a Russian bank or Russian establishment, he gets $500,000. This guy gets about $45,000. But they make that a tie to Russia. So what they're doing is this is a democratic ploy to overthrow Trump and lead to his downfall. That's the way we see it. There are no facts here at all. You read the news. They have Russia invading Ukraine. Russia never invaded Ukraine.
No, they didn't.
But that's the language that they use. Russia invaded Crimea. Oh, yeah. They've been there, what, longer than America's been a country? But that's not the way they propose in the news. So they use all the hateful language, and they also use the propaganda to get the people to hate the Russians, and it's working perfectly.
It is working perfectly, yeah. And you're right. Hillary Clinton, Victoria Nuland, and Arseniy Yatsenyuk oversaw the overthrow of the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych in Ukraine. You're absolutely right, Gerald.
And if anybody wants to see that, all they have to go is to YouTube, put in Victoria Nuland, Washington Press Club. I believe it was December 12th or 13th, 2013, to the best of my recollection of 2014. But just put that in, and you will hear her say how the United States spent $5 billion with NGOs, and that the future of Ukraine was with Europe, and to follow the path set forth by the International Monetary Fund. This is after Putin made a deal with Yanukovych to bail out the government and give them a much better deal. The facts are there. The facts are there when you hear, oh, if only, and that's the other thing. Oh, I'm really sick and tired of hearing, if only women were in charge. Slime comes in all races, creeds, and colors and genders, and the same thing with greatness. I'm tired of people playing the race and gender card, because you can hear Victoria Nuland, again, the wife of the people from the Kagans, the neocon group, saying F you to the UK. Oh, a woman would use that language? Oh, and you remember her, and you also mentioned the other guy, the ambassador to the to Ukraine, the United States ambassador, passing out cookies at Mighty Square.
We've got the great Gerald Celente on the line. We've got him for another 4 or 5 minutes. Do go to trendsresearch.com. Subscribe to the journal. I'm lucky enough to get the journal, and it is absolutely brilliant. It really is important stuff. This is the sort of analysis and research that you're not getting when you switch on CNN, C-SPAN, spam we should call it, Sky News, or the BBC. It's great to have him on. So the establishment are happy enough with him, but the Democrats and the media are not. Before we talk about your trip to Ireland, how dodgy is this for Trump then, Gerald? Do you see an impeachment?
It's going to be a rough one for him. There's no question about it. But he can't get impeached. What they're doing is they're playing down the road. By the way, just for people who don't know, when I talk about politics, at a graduate school many years ago, I was the number 2 guy running the mayoral campaign in Yonkers, New York. It was a city of 300,000 people. And then I ran campaigns and worked on campaigns in Westchester County and parts of New York City, and was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I designed and instructed one of the nation's first courses in American politics and campaign technology at St. John's University. And I was the chief government affairs specialist for the chemical industry in many years in D.C., between D.C. and Chicago. So I know how the game works. So what we're looking at here with Trump and the Democrats, they're waiting for the midterm elections in 2 years. And that's when the impeachment push will go. So they're building up all they can against him. They have to win the Senate and the House for that to happen. And under Obama, the people were so disgusted with, it had nothing to do with the Russians, because the Republicans won state houses around the country, blasted the Democrats out of the House of Representatives, and won the Senate. So it had nothing to do with the Russians, because I just talked about state losses. So what they're doing, Richie, is they're building for 2 years from now, and their desire is that Trump will be so unpopular that they'll regain a majority. They can't do anything without a majority.
The worst scenario is, in the meantime, there's a protracted conflict with Russia played out in these proxy wars, maybe over places like Iran, so the whole political landscape might change. Again, folks, trendsresearch.com, check out the journal. It's always brilliant getting your input, Gerald. You're off to my old country in June. I got an email from Trends Research Central a week or so ago, and I was delighted to see that. Tell us what's happening in Ireland in June.
Well, we're going to have a week-long conference from June 10th to 16th in Galway, and we're going to look at all the trends shaping the powerful trends unfolding worldwide, how they're going to affect you directly, your quality of life, your bottom line, your creative spirit. And also, we're going to put out information for those who want to become on-trendpreneurs. In other words, what are the trends that are developing, the new opportunities that exist that you could take advantage of to find your freedom independently and to create a future that's going to be solid, because it's going to be based on emerging and developing trends. So that's what the conference is going to be about. And it's more going to be not just trends. We're going to have, of course, there's going to be sightseeing and dinners together. And, it's not just about, I forget whether it was Jesus, Muhammad, or Buddha. I get them mixed up. I believe one of them said, you better boogie before the lights go out, because tomorrow is iffy. So we're going to have a good time, too, I like to have a good time. And I look at all this ugly crap going on in the world, and I try not to let it get the best of me. So this is going to be an opportunity for some fun as well, besides tapping in and profiting from the important social, economic, technological, and other trends that are developing.
You'll get a fantastic welcome there. And of course, it's a great place for you to go, because no country, well, I shouldn't say no country, Greece has suffered terribly, but the tyranny of the European Union has, heavily damaged Ireland on so many different levels. They need a dose of you, I think. When you're there, I was looking at this. My holiday is booked for another time. I can't get over there. This is killing me. This is killing me, because you were very kind to me when I started doing programs like this, when I got away from the mainstream in Spain. You were very kind and very patient when I was asking you stupid questions, because I didn't know very much. And I've never forgotten that. And I love the journal. I love the fact that you send it to me and I get to read it. So I'm absolutely gutted that I can't make any arrangements to get over there from Manchester. But when you're there, we'll try and arrange you to break off for 15 minutes to talk to us live from Ireland. You're brilliant, mate. You know how much we love you here. Trendsresearch.com. Subscribe to the journal, folks. And Gerald, just before we say goodbye, is that where people should go to find out more about Ireland in June? Should they go to trendsresearch.com?
Yeah, they could go to trendsresearch.com, and just go down to conference news. It's one of our buttons down there. Or you could go to trendsconferences.com.
Listen,
of course, www.trendsconferences.com.
if you're in Ireland or you're going to be there, you've no excuse not to go and see Gerald Celente. Thanks for your time today, Gerald. Thanks a million. Look after yourself.
Okay, thank you for all you do, Richie. Really appreciate being on with you.
You're a legend. Thanks very much, my friend. The great Gerald Celente. Go to trendsresearch.com. Scroll down. If you're going to be, if you're anywhere around the Irish West Coast in June, you could do a lot worse then go and see the great Gerald Celente. Subscribe to the journal at trendsresearch.com. Top man.